So today I just want to make a quick little video on why stories that seem to break on YouTube never get picked up by mainstream media. And I know I keep bringing up the Avi Yemeni case, but it encapsulates so much about the difference between what happens on YouTube and what happens on mainstream media. And people have been asking, well, why is mainstream media, CNN or New York Times, not covering the Avi Yemeni scandal with the Jim Jefferies leaked footage and how Jim Jefferies' show edits and manipulates, one, the footage of the interview, and two, how Jim Jefferies behaved on the TV show when he thought the cameras weren't rolling? Like, why isn't this a bigger story? And the main reason is most journalists and people working in mainstream media don't follow YouTube. They just don't watch it, and so by therefore not watching it, they don't understand it, and when they don't understand it and they don't watch it, they just don't pick up on the stories that are circulating on YouTube, on that platform specifically. And you can get proof positive for this time after time, like the Logan Paul scandal when he went into this Japanese suicide forest. That didn't break until it broke on Twitter. That video had been up for close to an entire day and was full of likes. And it wasn't until it had been screen grabbed and put on Twitter by Philip DeFranco and other people that then it got picked up by mainstream media. Same with like Daddy of Five. And even then they blundered it when they just brought on the family, and Good Morning America just kind of interviewed the parents like, oh, what do you think about what's going on with YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there was no actual journalism or the media doing its job in that case. Once again, all the real reporting and the story was living and existing on YouTube. And the same with the Avi Yemeni thing, right? That scandal and story has lived and existed on YouTube. The people that have followed up on it have been YouTubers for the most part, and not really mainstream media. And that's because all of those stories broke on YouTube and not on Twitter. And Twitter is where mainstream media follows the news. So when a story breaks on Twitter or something picks up enough traction on Twitter, that's what gets the kind of mainstream media to pick up on it. So for you guys out there, if you really want to get a story in the news, or you think like, hey, something's going on YouTube, why isn't this being picked up on mainstream media? It needs to get into Twitter. It needs to cross the platform membrane from YouTube onto Twitter, because that's where most of media lives. And if you really think something's important, try to get it to blow up on Twitter. That'll catch the eye of most of the big media companies you think about. But this also offers a window for up-and-coming journalists, in that if you're YouTube savvy, you can break a lot of stories just by following YouTube and understanding what's going on with the platform. You can have a better understanding of PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Avi Yemeni, the Kirkzad versus Coffee Break story. Like, all these stories are great, interesting stories that just don't break mainstream media because journalists aren't on YouTube. They aren't, scanning the stories, understanding what's going on. So if you're an up-and-coming journalist, a great opportunity is to have, both your eyes planted in YouTube and be watching for stories that you could then translate into a broader audience using the kind of mainstream media distribution channels, whether that be, a cable channel or print or, working at Vice or BuzzFeed or ABC News. Doesn't really matter. That's a great opportunity. I realize this answer leaves kind of something to be desired, and that it's such a simple answer to a question that seems so like, well, what the heck? Like, so many people are on YouTube. Why isn't mainstream media covering this more? And it really is that simple of an answer. Like, I know people at every single media company you can think of in the United States. And I know most of the people they interact with. And the bulk of them just aren't on YouTube. That's just the way it is. And in some ways, Occam's razor is the truth. The simplest answer is often the right answer. And that's that mainstream media just doesn't pay attention to YouTube, for better or for worse. Anyway, that Avi Yemeni thing just once again encapsulates another perfect example of media dynamics. If you want to watch another video and click around, if you want to leave a comment or suggest a video for me to talk about, if you're curious about anything in the media, go ahead and leave it down below. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow.